Rolly Nando's da Zamin.
Rosette culture African jo.
Hon nog vårt rác ở Việt Nam đâu. Personne på Diokshuk St. James. To khosh di berme dawala hasare. Prosimine khayte olpatki.
Ti prego non buttate spazzatura nelle strade. Te gandana sottia karo.
No tire spasura.
Na zumiata.
Prosim naci vin veci brepu. Please moila falayona flore.
Tafadhali usitupe mataka. Mangrag hawang magdrop ng basara.
请不要丢垃圾。
Te rogi scapo gunoi.
Rasta upar kachro नहीं फेंकता.
من فضلك لا تسقط الخمامة.
Vă rugăm să nu aruncați gunoi pe jos.
Proszę nie rzucać śmieciami. Пожалуйста, не мусорите. Please ना कचरा फेंको. प्यार करो जो तुम रेवो छो.
Jira papan rena ho jayenge pyar karen jo.
Fonsikanga. Ashmi lukraz giveno. Mali khod khosh beve. Lubim de bivam.
Adorate dove voi vivete.
जिथे तुसी रहने उन्नु प्यार करो.
Običajte kada živete.
আমি ভালোবাসি আমি কই থাকি.
Penda pahali umeishi. Pag-ibig kung saan ka nakitira.
爱你住的地方。
Apreciați locul unde locuiți.
احترم المكان الذي تعيش فيه. Kocham gdzie mieszkam. Lubicie gdzie wy żyjecie. प्यार करो जहाँ आप रहते हो. जिस घर पे आप रहते हो उससे प्यार करो.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very excited to introduce day 5 of our Climate Action Fortnight today. The video we just saw was from the Love Where You Live campaign, which we did earlier this year in February, and that was students from 6 different schools all across Leicester. So, my name is Mark Tench. I'm an Eco Schools Education Officer here with the Environmental Education team at Leicester City Council. And working in the background, as always, is Lee Jowett, our Sustainable Schools Coordinator, and Amy Peace, who's a Project Officer. So today we're going to be learning all about litter. We've got some very exciting activities planned, mainly litter pick around your school or your local area, hopefully. And we've also got some litterless training going on just for the adults this afternoon between 1 and 3:30. I'm going to introduce you to our first speaker now, who's Lee Ray Davies, and she is National Manager at Eco Schools England. So over to you, Lee.
Hello everyone, it's very nice to meet you all. I think I've probably met teachers, children who are on the call or watching at this moment. I've probably met most of you before when we've been out on our Littlest campaigns, which I'm really excited that we're going to be able to do again this year. So most of you in Leicester as well know me as the other Lee. So I'm the Lee from Keep Britain Tidy. So we'll just go through on the PowerPoint we'll bring up. So as we said, so I'm at Keep Britain Tidy, and obviously most of you will probably recognise our Tidy Man logo there. You will have seen him on dustbins and packages up and down the country and overseas. I saw him actually on Eco Schools Australia post yesterday evening as well. So we are, although the Eco Schools programme has 10 different Eco Schools topics, obviously the litter topic is something that's very special for us here at Eco Schools England. And not only that, there's the amount of work and projects that we've been doing with you guys in Leicester is phenomenal. So I always say this, and I hope not any other areas aren't seeing this, but I kind of have a bit of a soft spot for the schools in Leicester and all the work that you're doing with us. Okay, move on, please. I'm trying really hard not to say next slide, please. And so what I want to start off by saying is to everybody that's watching this morning at 20 to 10 in the morning, I just want to say thank you for giving up your time, for joining the presentation, for being involved in this week's action, and also you've got another week of fun stuff ahead of you. So thank you very much. And obviously, it's been a bit of an awkward time at the moment in schools. It's been very, very difficult with everything that's been happening. And I know, particularly in Leicester, you guys have had much longer lockdowns and your schools have been restricted to what you can do. But you have not let that stop. You've been absolutely phenomenal. We've still had schools from Leicester registering and going for their green flag. And I think what we've really seen from you guys is that you're not kind of forcing your school into the Eco Schools programme. What you're doing is you're adapting and you're fitting the programme into your school. So that's absolutely fabulous. And obviously, don't worry as well if some of your Eco Schools actions haven't gone to plan. We have revised all of the 7-step criteria. We're working around. If you've got any questions or queries, always get in touch. Okay, so what is an eco school? If we just jump onto the next bit, please. Thank you. So what we've seen recently is that so many schools have been involved in the programme that we've kind of come up with some new definitions as to what an eco schools is, because it can be very, very subjective. And we launched this last week, and I kind of wanted to run this past you guys. Obviously, with Leicester having the most eco schools in the country in any other local authority, and also the most green flags. So who better to share this with than you guys first? So what we're saying and what you're all working on is it's youth led. So I imagine some of you are sat in your classrooms at the moment with your teacher. So hello. It's a school friendly and it's an environmental education programme. And I think school friendly is really important because although we've got you guys and all in your classes going out and doing litter picking and all your other work, you still need one of your teachers, one of your eco coordinators to help you run everything. So what I'd like you all to do now, if possible, if you're in the classroom, if you can turn to the teacher that's in your classroom who's on with you this morning, and can you just give them a quick round of applause and say thank you. So if we can just do that 30 seconds. Thank you, everybody. And if they blushed and went red, that's good. We've done what we've achieved. Okay. So the Eco Schools programme, as you might be aware, okay, lots of you in Leicester schools, but it's actually the biggest and only educational programme that enables young people to drive environmental change and behavioural action. And we've seen that, haven't we, in Leicester when we've marched to Abbey Park with our signs and we've been shouting that we don't want litter on the floor anymore. And it's also the only one that gets you the highest level of international accreditation at UNESCO. And what's also good, and we've seen again with all of the work we've been doing with you guys, is it's suitable for nurseries right through to colleges as well and SEN schools. And we've got loads and loads of different resources to get you involved in all of our campaigns. But it is a student-led programme. That's our definition. What I'd like you to do now is just show you a short video. This was taken from our Eco Schools Award ceremony last December. You might recognise some award-winning pupils on this particular video. And just to let you know what they think about what the Eco Schools programme is and what it means to be eco.
I think it's really important that all schools become eco schools because school is such a big part of a child's life. So being able to like integrate environmental practices like in school and be able to like think about those things is really important for the whole of their life.
I think it's important for schools to become eco schools because if we don't, then the environment will get worse and it won't be a better place to live in. It's better for our environment and it makes us happy and it makes us healthy and active.
We need to stop wasting water and it's a global issue and we just need to sort it out.
It's helping our generation, like our kids and our grandchildren.
With the climate changing, we need to become eco so that we can save the planet.
I think it's important for every school to become an eco school because it saves the environment from nasty emissions that we shouldn't really get. Animals are getting killed by these emissions that humans are producing from cars.
The world is it's in a rush at the minute and we try and make it better, so schools is a way to do that.
We have this wonderful world and we don't want to lose it. our world is changing, and I think people need to be more aware of climate change, since it is our future and it is our our role to show that, so in the future people can live a better life and the environment doesn't get ruined.
And I think that's super important. I think one of the young girls there said on the thing that the world's in a bit of a rough patch at the moment. And I think kind of the work that you're doing here with the eco schools and everything that you're doing with Lee and all of the team in Leicester is just a great way. We're not letting things get us down. We're still active. We're still doing things. And I know there's a lot of eco and climate anxiety out there. But when you've got such a great team supporting you in Leicester and so many positive case studies, you might have noticed 2 schools there. So we had Catherine Junior and Avenue, who were our award winners. I think we should celebrate all of the amazing stuff that you guys have been getting up to. And I just also wanted to mention, because I know I'd seen on the brochure that there was the reference to our Eco Schools at Home campaign, and this is just another sign that nothing stops our eco schools from doing work. So over the lockdown, we produced a series of eco schools topic actions that you could do in school with your key worker children, but you could also set as eco schools homework. And I'm really pleased, if you haven't seen us show off about this already yet, we won the Teach Primary Award for Best Free Teaching Resource. It was also suitable for primary and early, for secondary and early years. We have those on the website, so I would just recommend, there is one for litter as well, if you would like to have a look and download those. But what I kind of just want to also flag up is I am obviously on here today to talk about litter, and I'll be doing the Littlest training campaign later this afternoon. Is if you think about that in the UK, globally, we have about 19.5 million children on the eco committees up and down or all around the world in 68 different countries. And if you think if every one of those children, and you guys included, picked up one piece of litter every day for a week, that is 136.5 million pieces of litter picked up in 1 week just by eco schools children. So maybe when you're going out and you're doing your litter picks today, and it might feel like you're the only people out there litter picking, you're not. Remember, you've got this whole globe of eco schools and littlest children also going out and litter picking with you. So finally then, this is my kind of exciting announcement that I'd like to make for the first time here. We're going to announce it here in Leicester with you guys. We have a new litter campaign. So it's not just Littlest. We are very excited to tell you that Mars Wrigley have now teamed up with England's women's football team, the Lionesses, and we've got a brand new anti-littering campaign called Bin It Your Way. And what we'd like you to do is take on this Twitter challenge, and we want you to come up with the most innovative way that you can kick litter into the dustbin. And if we just move on to the next slide, I can show you kind of what we're asking from you. And this is open to any school actually in the whole of the UK, but we're announcing first here in Leicester. What we're asking you to do is think of a trick shot of how you can put your litter in the dustbin. So it's a great one for maybe a sports lesson as well, and it's open to all ages. And then, of course, practice, because we want these perfect. Okay. The most innovative way, it's also open to your teachers, that you can get your piece of litter into the dustbin. We want you to film it. And then the only way, obviously, that you can enter this is you're going to have to share it with us on Twitter. And then in order for it to be entered into the competition, you're going to have to @BinItEducation and hashtag #BinItYourWay. And of course, tag us in Eco Schools and Keep Britain Tidy and Leicester Eco Schools. Make sure that people and your friends and your family everyone is following and liking. So of course I'll be there with Eco Schools England liking and resharing everything. And then what's going to happen is the Lionesses are going to pick one of their winners who they think is the best trick shot. And what's absolutely fantastic is the winning one, with a winning school, the winning person will win £500 worth of sports vouchers for your school. So get creative. I want to see how you can do a back volley. I'm making these up now. A kick with a hockey stick, an in and a dunk, as many creative ways as possible. A chain of keepy uppies into the dustbin, you name it, you come up with some way. But this is open to every single school in the UK, but I'm very excited to say, as Eco Schools and as Keep Britain Tidy, we're announcing it here in Leicester. So good luck with that, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. That sounds yeah, brilliant. The Bin It Your Way campaign. I'm already trying to think of all these different ways that we could get litter into the bin, slam dunks, or volleys. Or I bet you can think of loads and loads of different ways. And it's great to hear more about eco schools around the world as well as in Leicester. I'm going to hand you over to Cassie Kemp, who's a librarian at Creative Learning Services, or CLS, and she's going to do some book reading about litter. Over to you, Cassie.
Fabulous. So thank you very much for that, and I'm totally inspired by that. I'm going to be spending my weekend trying to get things in the bin in creative ways. It's just I can't quite concentrate at the moment. I'm really excited for that, so I hope you guys really get into it as well. So yes, hello, my name is Cassie. I'm one of the librarians from Creative Learning Services. We may have been into your school. You may have seen myself or one of my colleagues in a nice bright pink t-shirt. We are the school's library service for Leicester and Leicestershire, so you can subscribe to us, get lots of books, and we do exciting things like museum educator sessions as well, and lots of artwork things as well. But today I am here, as Mark introduced me as, to talk about some books linked to litter. Now, some of the books that I've got here might be younger age than the pupils in your class or your colleagues are, but don't worry about that. The idea is that they can be used as a resource to talk about it and to maybe open up debates, get some activities going, and really just explore litter and what we can do about it in Leicester. So first up, I have The Hodgepodge Lodge by Priscilla Lamont, and this is a story about a family of pigs. I don't know if you can see those little guys up there. They are called the Pigwigs, and they are like us, like everybody's been doing in lockdown, buying loads of stuff online, grabbing everything we can when we go to the shops when we're allowed. But what's happened is that there's been a real build-up of rubbish and packaging and just litter in the house, which is something that we're so used to being at home now. We're seeing that a lot more as well. So the Pigwigs, they're getting kind of overwhelmed by all these books, all these boxes and things like that that they've got around their home, but they're not that really bothered about it. They're just quite happy to order some more boxes and some more packaging and all that kind of stuff online and just let it take over. But then one day there's a bit of a storm and the wind comes and blows all of that litter out from their house into nature, into the garden, into the woodland near their house. And they're like, yes, this is absolutely brilliant. I'll show you a little picture. But obviously litter out there in the world may be good because it's not in their house, but it means that it's out there for other animals and other people. And let me show you this one here. So we have the rat here. There's lots of different characters in this book, and if you can see from there, he's eaten some of the little polystyrene marshmallows, as he thinks they are, and it's not done his tummy any good at all. There's a fox that he's trod on some glass, so he's got a hurted paw, and all these different things. And it really explores through a picture book just the way that litter has an impact on the environment around us. Now, the Pigwigs, they've got to do something about this. The animals around them are not happy. I'm not going to tell you what happens because I want you to find this book yourselves. So that is first up, Hodgepodge Lodge. It's cute, but it's also got lots of things that we can think about, especially the attitude that the Pigwigs have and how it impacts on the animals around them. Next up, we have a book, and I've got a question for you with this one. So this is Clem and Crab by Fiona Lumbars. Did anybody manage to go to the beach this year? I didn't. I'm quite sad about that, but we all stayed safe, and those that got to go, hopefully you had a wonderful, wonderful time and had a little bit of a mini holiday away from home. But in this story, we have Clem,
who's our little Clem here, and she goes to the beach with her big sister for the day. They go on the bus together, and what she finds on the beach is that it is covered in litter. Absolutely covered everywhere they go, like what we saw in the news over the summer this year when it was Bournemouth Beach, I believe. There was just stuff absolutely everywhere. Now, here's a little spread of the things there, but Clem, being a child, being optimistic and finding adventure in everything, she goes to the beach and she thinks that this litter is great. It's treasure. So she goes treasure hunting. I don't know if you can see from in there, all the different things that she finds are actually litter. It's rubbish, it's plastic, but she finds one very exciting thing while she's there as well. She also finds, if you can see him on that page there, a little crab. And this crab, unfortunately, has got all tangled up with the litter and he's all attached. You know, like when we hear about hedgehogs getting the rings wrapped around their head and things like that. This little crab has got his claws all tangled up in some plastic, and Clem takes him home and tries to look after him and make him better whilst tidying up. But my favourite bit about this book is that she goes back into school on Monday after she's been, and she tells everybody else about what she's found, and they start a campaign to tidy up their local beaches, which is just amazing stuff. That is people power, and that's what we need at the moment. And if you can see from that picture as well, she's also used all the treasure that she's found, all that litter, to make a collage. Now, I know you've got an activity later today to go litter picking, so maybe you could do like Clem and make something from that litter, as long as it's nice and clean and all that business. But get creative with it as well and reuse it, so we're recycling that litter again. So that is book number 2, that is Clem and Crab. And then book number 3 is Tidy by Emily Gravitt. If you love an Emily Gravitt picture book, you're going to love this. And also, if you love autumn, you're going to love this as well. So this is perfect. We're talking about litter, we're talking about autumn. I had to talk about Tidy because it is all about this little badger guy here. His name is Pete and he likes things to be neat. Yes, we love a pun like that. It's brilliant. And he's always forever tidying up the forest where he lives with all his animal friends. This is one of my favourite pictures, so I'm going to show you this very, very quickly. He is tidying up the fox by brushing him with a hedgehog. Don't try this at home, but it's quite cute and it makes me laugh. So Pete, he wants everything to be nice and tidy. Litter is a big no for him. But can you imagine what happens when autumn comes? He's tidying everything up. But then the leaves are going to start falling from the trees, so we can do loads of stuff in the classroom with this, maybe doing some art or looking into the seasons, things like that. But Pete, he thinks this is the worst thing that's ever happened, because now all these leaves are coming and he's got to pick every single one up to make sure it's tidy. And I'll give you a little bit of a clue of what happens next. He takes it a little bit further than he probably needs to, and he starts taking them off the trees, and then he gets even more serious than that. He starts digging up the trees. That's taking it a little bit too far, but the message is we need to keep our natural habitats as litter free and as tidy as we can without interfering too much with those environments. So that is Tidy. And then the next 2 books I've got, they're more sitting down and reading. So we've got a chapter book and then a novel as well. So first up is Steph and the Sea Sprite. And this is a similar theme to Clem and Crab, but it's got really kind of active littering in it, which is, we kind of need that sometimes as an example, so we know not what to do. So we have Steph and her friends. They've gone to the beach for the day. They're just chilling. They've got all their snacks with them. If you can see there, one of them's just casually chucking a crisp packet over her shoulder. Somebody else will deal with it. I'm having fun. It doesn't matter. So that happens. She's there and Steph's feeling really awkward. She's like, oh my God, my friends are being really bad. They're littering all over the place. And then this Sea Sprite guy appears, if you can see him from there. He's an unusual character. He's got things growing in his beard. He's got like nets involved in his clothing and his outfit. And he is a sea sprite. And he comes to see Steph just as she's about to litter for the first time, because they're playing a game where they're throwing bottles into the sea and waiting for them to come back on the waves, which sounds like fun. But what if them bottles don't come back? Then those bottles are in the sea, and we do not want that in the slightest. So the sea sprite takes Steph into the future to show her what life would be like if everybody carried on like her and her friends are doing. And let me tell you this for now, it's not pretty. It gets a lot worse. So then Steph decides to jump in and make sure that doesn't happen. So this is a good book to kind of really think about other people's behaviour, and it's a bit obviously higher reading age than the picture book, so it can be looked at by slightly older children. So that is Steph and the Sea Sprite. And then I've got another very timely one for you here. This is The Accidental President by Tom McLachlan. I don't know if you've come across these books before, but they are absolutely fabulous. And as we've just had the election in America, this feels like the perfect time to talk about this book. But it also links to environmental issues and litter as well. So let me explain. Our main character here is AJ. He is the best friend of the Prime Minister of the UK, who also happens to be a young boy, because this is a storybook. Anything can happen, anything is possible. So his story, Joe, is in the Accidental Prime Minister. So this is kind of like the sequel, but you don't need to have read the first one. So AJ being his mate, he's actually the Minister for Education, and he does some quite interesting things that your teachers will definitely kind of be sitting there going, huh, yeah, that sounds familiar, those kind of things. But then he decides that we need to get rid of AJ. He's causing a little bit of trouble. So he sends him to America to be the ambassador for the UK in the States. And it just so happens that he ends up on a TV show representing the UK. And alongside him, there is also a guest who is one of the people running for the new election. AJ gets a little bit confused, and because he's planning to do a fun run to raise some money to build a new recycling centre to stop all the littering in his hometown by doing this fun run. And he thinks, right, this guy's running, I can also run as well. So he says, yeah, I'm running. And it turns out that he accidentally makes sure that he's running for president in the United States, which is okay because he was born in America. And there's this whole thing about him, it's really funny right at the beginning, where he's like, I'm American, and he dresses up as an American flag, all stripes and stars and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, it's fine, I'm American, I was born here. And everybody's like, nobody in America dresses like that, even slightly. Then this is one of my favourite bits as well. As you can tell, I really love this book. His opponent is a guy called Hank, and he looks very similar to somebody who's hopefully been dethroned from the presidency in America at the moment. And he gets really angry, and when he gets angry, he goes really red in his face. He's got crazy blonde hair. You know who I'm talking about. And this is what Tom McLachlan does the best. He really kind of makes a joke out of real stuff that we can relate to, but he does it in a very kind of clever, innocent way almost. So this guy called Hank, he runs and owns a massive change of coffee shops in America, and AJ's problem with him is that obviously those coffee cups are not recyclable and they are being littered everywhere. So the two come to blows as they're running for president, as we're going through this race, and lots of crazy, wonderful things happen. So it's a funny book, but it's also got those issues, and it's got that somebody who is actively trying to stop littering happening and help environmental issues through being the president of the United States, which is a crazily powerful position to be in, but one that AJ is going to hopefully be very, very good at. So that is The Accidental President. Those are the 5 books that I've got to talk to you about today. I'm back on Monday. We're talking about marine books then, but all these books are available through our service. So you can check out our website, which is creativelearningservices.org.uk. And on our online catalogue, I'll put a list of these books so you can have a flick through them and have a look and check which ones you want, and hopefully use them in your classroom, use them at home, and explore the theme of litter a little bit further and get some really good discussions going, and hopefully some great ideas for what to do next. So thank you very much for listening. I'll hand back over to the team.
Thank you, Cassie. That sounds like a great selection of books there for all sorts of different ages. I quite like the look of Hodgepodge Lodge. I think I'll give that a try with my youngest son. And Accidental Present sounds absolutely fantastic as well. I think my oldest son would absolutely love that. I'm going to introduce what's going to be happening next week after the weekend. So on Monday the 16th of November, which is day 6 of our Climate Action Fortnight, that's all going to be around the topic of marine, so to do with the ocean. And we've got some great speakers there. We've got Alex Cameron from the flood risk at Leicester City Council. We've got Cassie coming back again. She's going to do some book reading all about topic of marine. And we've got Rachel Wright from the Marine Conservation Society as well. So some great speakers coming up next week. And there's going to be some activities, a marine conservation activity and a plastic pollution activity as well. So some great activities coming up on day 6 of our Climate Action Fortnight. We've got our quiz questions for today. Just a bit of a reminder at the end of the fortnight. So this time next week, you can submit all of your answers for this, and there will be a prize going out for people that manage to get everything right. Or the most correct answers. So question 1, which of these is not defined as litter? Is it A, leaves? Is it B, crisp packet? Or is it C, banana skins? Question 2, what month was the Great British Clean this year? Was it A, in May? Was it B, in July? Or was it C, in September? Might have to do a little bit of research for that one possibly. And question 3, we've talked about it today, so hopefully we know this one. What is the name of the big campaign we run in Leicester? Is it A, Litterless Leicester? Is it B, Bin It? Or is it C, Don't Drop Litter? So those are the questions for today. And I just wanted to remind you as well about our Climate Action Bingo. So loads of different things you can do during this fortnight, some hopefully at school, some maybe in your own time. There is certificates which you can get for completing as many as you possibly can. And they're all available on schools.leicester.gov.uk/eco schools. And there's lots of different things there. Probably the one that springs to mind is go on a litter pick. So hopefully you got a chance to do that today at school. If not, perhaps it can be done in your own time, but all sorts of other stuff. Cook a veggie meal, make a poster all about the environment. Lots of different things you can get involved with at school or in your own time. And that brings us to the end of day 5. Just a little bit of a reminder here about keeping in touch. Lots of things. Well, the video for today and previous days is all on our YouTube channel, Eco Schools LCC. Lots of different ways of keeping in touch on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Loads of different resources, all from this week on our website there, schools.leicester.gov.uk/eco schools. And if you want to get in touch with us, ask about getting in contact with any speakers or want any more information on anything, there is our email address as well. Have fun on the rest of today. Have a great weekend. Happy Diwali for tomorrow as well. And we'll see you next Monday. Bye, everyone.